I think that one thing in this era that people got to take advantage of is the fact that we live in an era with options. And so, like, what do I mean by that? I mean that it's possible to live and do what you want to do, and it's one of those things where it's like you didn't experience everything anyways, so just go back and do what you want to do. So it's like, okay, in terms of gaming, I see people all the time talk about the modern gaming industry, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't like the modern gaming industry, then just go back to a different era and just play it. Like we've gotten to the point where like PS3 and Xbox 360 emulation is so awesome right now, where it's like when they are at, like, I forget how old they are as consoles, so it's like we're like 20 years removed from the Xbox 360 launch date, and it's like, yeah, that, like, we were at awesome GameCube emulation at like year 12. You know, like I think Dolphin 4.0 came out what, 2014, 15. So yeah, we were at like year 12, and it's one of those things where it's like we've almost been there. It took us a little bit longer with PS3 and 360, but they've been awesome for a couple of years now. So we're probably at like year 15, 16, something like that, you know. But once we get 15 years removed from a console, it's like easier than ever to emulate, and it's one of those things where like going forward, you're not even gonna have to do it because so many games are coming over to PC at this point. It's like, you know, especially Xbox games. Almost every Xbox game is on PC, so it's like, unless it's like a PlayStation or a Nintendo game, you can play any era at this point going forward forever just off of PC. You can just download Steam and get it. For the most part, you know, you have like Epic Games Launcher, stuff like that. But I mean, that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, like, if you miss the PS2 era, like, you can either go get a working PS2, or you can get a broken PS2 and replace some of the parts pretty easily. It's not like it's that hard to fix most of these consoles at this point. Like, Amazon and eBay and all of these things are so, and they even have third-party people that make, like, sell their own parts for these consoles. Like, they do it for that purpose. So many people are selling consoles for replacement. So it's like, you may have an HDMI port that's out in this one, so you just buy another PS2 off eBay for like $20 and take that one out and replace it in the other one. It's like awesome. It's awesome, the era that we're living in right now, because we have so much choice. You don't even have to do that. You could just download PCSX2 and play. PCSX2 has been awesome since I was a kid. Think about that, because I grew up in the PS2 generation. I was born in 2001, so I was a PlayStation 2 baby, right? So PS2 emulation was awesome by the time PS4 came out. So it took us like 10 years, and PS2 emulation was already awesome. So now it's damn near flawless at this point. It's running so good that they're putting PS2 emulators on other consoles. Like, that's how easy it is to go and get that generation of games. And it's like, bro, like, we grew up with that era. I'm going to tell y'all this, because a lot of y'all grew up how I did. We were poor. So what happens when you're poor is you don't get the newest gaming consoles and the newest gaming systems right away. It takes you almost the entire generation, right? So this is how it is, because people make fun of people that are still on PS4 right now, but this is just how it goes when you're a poor, especially when you're a poor kid. The new console comes out, it takes you about 5, maybe 6 years at the most into the actual console's generation before you even get another one, and then the next generation is about to come out. So like for me, we had a PS2. I got a 360. Let me put it like this. My family got a 360 around 2009-ish. Because Sonic Unleashed wasn't old yet. Sonic Unleashed had just came out, and it was before Colors and Generations. So I want to say it was about 2009. Might have been early 2010 before Colors came out, but I want to say about 2009. The 360 came out in 2005. And we got one in 2009. We didn't get a PS3 until 2011 because we had got Black Ops 1 and then Black Ops 2 was coming out not soon after, or shortly after, I mean. So it was one of those things where it's like, you know, you wait 5-6 years until you're able to get the next console when you were poor. So what that meant was, when I was a child, my first video game was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube. So my uncle still had a working Dreamcast. We had a PS2. My dad had an Xbox. And then my mom got me a GameCube. But my uncle still had his N64. My pop still had his Nintendo. My mom still had her Sega Genesis. And I'm missing a console. My uncle still had a PlayStation 1, but I didn't play the PlayStation 1. I'm missing a console. Can't think of what I'm missing. But needless to say, I played all of those. So like, I grew up as a kid. Sometimes I was playing N64. Sometimes I was playing GameCube. Sometimes I was playing PS2. Sometimes I was playing Super Nintendo. I had like libraries of games on all of these consoles that were like 10 years old, but I was still playing them because I was a kid, and it's not like we had the brand new stuff. So like in the early 2000s, like 2005, 6, 7, 8, when I'm 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, I had no clue about what was going on with the PS3 360 generation, because I was just, as far as I'm concerned, GameCube PS2 era was the shit, you know, like, and that was the last generation. And so that happens to a lot of kids, and then so they don't get those new generation consoles until further into the console generation a lot of time. So I know a lot more people than maybe are even going to admit it can relate to a story like that when they're coming up. Because your parents just can't afford all the new stuff all the time. You know, $600, especially in the early 2000s for a console, was a lot of money. You know what I mean? That's a ton. It's still a lot of money. Like, it's still a ton of money today. Like, dropping $400, $500, $600 on a console is a lot. Like, it's a lot for a lot of us. Where was I going with that? Where I was going with that was, a lot of us have experience with those when you're my age. So when you're my age, you've seen a lot of gaming. That's not the case for the newer generation. So they just know what they know. And the gaming companies are selling to them. So it's like, there's a market for mature gaming. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, the gaming companies are trying to sell to the kids and to the teenagers for the most part. Like, on the adult side of it, I don't want to say they don't sell to us. They just, I mean, they sell to us in a way that still appeals to the teenager inside of us, though. You know what I mean? And that's why I think a lot of people look at modern gaming and they see a lot of things and they're like, yeah, but you're not hitting on that same kind of level like it was when the 360 was new, dog. And it's like, and that's beautiful. So just go back and play the 360 stuff, because the beautiful part about, and this is also, I lost track of it, but this is also the point that I was going to make on going on that long tangent. The beautiful part about growing up with all of the stuff that we grew up with, like that, like with my experience, like I was talking about, I still didn't play a lot of the GameCube library. I still didn't play a lot of the PS2 library. Like, the Black Hokage, he has a thing where, like, he pokes fun at people because it says that, you know, so many people get online talking big stuff, but they haven't played a ton of games. And a lot of people are still playing games that are like 5 or 6 years old. And it's one of those things where it's like, he's always like, you guys are playing the same games over and over. And it's like, yeah, like, I'm not talking to, I know he's poking fun, but I'm saying, like, that's a great point, because when you zoom in on it, people are laughing, but it's like, that's the majority of our experiences, though. Especially when you grew up pre the modern day internet. It's like, yeah, a lot of us played the same games over and over and over and over again. So you probably had like 20 or 25 games in the game library. You played those all before, but you played them over and over and over again. It was every now and then your mom or your dad will take you to GameStop and be like, okay, get you a new game. But it's not like you're getting multiple new games, because like with me, for example, I had an older brother and a younger brother. So if they're running buy two get one specials, all three of us we may get 2 games. My dad might do it twice. So it's like you get 2 games, you get 2 games, you get 2 games. So we all get a buy two get one. You know what I mean? Like so we might get 6 games out of that. Some of the times we're going to, like, I know y'all don't know this, but like Blockbuster or Family Video, and we're renting the game for the weekend, and we're gonna bring it back at the end. So like you gotta hurry up and beat it in the weekend. It's even with all of that, we still didn't play most of that library. So like I never played any of the Tales of games. I never played Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and it has a whole remake now. Like I never played it's like I don't know. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I never played freaking Chibi Robo. Like I didn't play Zelda Wind Waker until about 2015, 16. I played the remake on Wii U. Like I didn't play a lot of those games. I didn't play a lot of the GameCube PS2 library. I played some of the hits that I had. I played the games that I know I play. I played a lot of Sonic. I played a lot of Dragon Ball Z. I played a lot of Naruto. I played most of the Spider-Man games and the Ultimate Alliance games. Let's see, a lot of sports games. Mario. Yeah, I played like the same stuff. I didn't play a Legend of Zelda game until I played Ocarina of Time 3D in 2013 on the 3DS. I did not play. It might have been 2012. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? But I didn't play a lot of the library for the consoles that I had. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where I know that experience is not exclusive to me. So the beauty of the era that we live in is what I'm doing right now is like, I just bought a PS3 off eBay. I have a PS3, but my HDMI port is messed up. So I just bought a PS3 off eBay. I'm going through the games that I already have that I've played before, but I'm also just grabbing some new games that I haven't played on that era of gaming, because I didn't play Borderlands 2. I didn't play BioShock. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't finish the Tomb Raider games. So it's like, for me, it's one of those things where this is a 20-year-old console, and I'm getting it, and I'm basically introducing myself to the vastness of that era of gaming, because I didn't play a lot of these games. And I can still go back to the PS2 and play a lot of those games. I can still go back to the N64 and play a lot of those games. Like one of the things I want to do, I got the stuff that I want to play on PS3. But also one of the things that I want to do is, because I'm just studying video game history right now, I am fascinated by what was going on when Nintendo entered the game. And so, like, I want to go back and play the original Dragon Quest, because I just want to see, like, one of the first RPGs ever made. What does it play like? How does it stack up compared to today? What are the things I can notice are there or are not there? Or, like, you know, like, how fun is it? I just want to see. I want to know. And it's one of those things where, like, that's available to all of us, but you got to find it. You got to find the things that make that cool. Because that's the beauty of it. If you miss that era, or if you just want to study that era, or if you just want to go play some of the games that you didn't get to play, because I know you didn't play all of them. I know you didn't even play the vast majority of them. Then we're living in an era where that's so easy for us. It's so easy for us, and we can go back and we can do it at any point in time that we want to do it, and it can be cool. I talked about it in my last video. I did not beat any of the original Sonic the Hedgehog games until last year. I beat Sonic 1 and 2. I beat Sonic 1, and at the end of it, I was like, yo, I actually can't believe I never beat this game, because that game is really cool. And I see what they were trying to do. I see why they were trying to do it. I see what kind of game they were making. Because I've been studying video game history, I understand what was going on in the industry at this point and why this was such a big deal. I can kind of put myself in the mind of like a kid back at that time and how cool this would have been to have been going on at this point in time. It's one of those things where like when you realize how cool it is that you even have the opportunity to go back and be able to study that history and then play those games still and be able to see the perspective of the developers and why they were making it, and then the players back then and how cool it must have been to like be able to play this at this time. Like I was playing Mass Effect and I was just like, this was like the first time a game like this even could have been made. Like the fact that this is a space odyssey, like, and it's this grand thing with all this wonderful music and these awesome cutscenes and like these dialogue trees that have all of this. It's like, dog, this is like the culmination of what they were envisioning in the 80s gaming to be like. And then you fast forward 25 years and you got like 100-hour interactive movie. You got 100-hour interactive movie in Mass Effect. And it's like, I mean, I was a kid at the time that it came out. I just wasn't paying attention. But it's like the people that were teenagers at this time, I wonder how they felt. Like, because they would have been kids on the PlayStation 1. They would have been playing Final Fantasy 7. They would have fast forwarded a couple of years and been playing Kingdom Hearts. Think about how big of a jump it seems from Final Fantasy 7 to Kingdom Hearts. And then it's like you come and they're teenagers now and they have Mass Effect. Like they got to see the gaming industry change right before their very eyes like that. That had to be awesome to experience. And we don't quite have anything like that because most of the progression has happened already. But we can go back to it at any time that we want. Whether you actually grew up in that era or not. Whether you're nostalgic for it or not. You can go back and study that history. You can go back and put yourself in that position right then and there at any time that you want. You just got to have the imagination for it. You just got to have the creativity to be able to research it and put yourself there. You have to have the want to want to go do it. And you got to think it's worth doing. If you think it's worth doing, if you think it's cool, you can go do it. You can spend the next 5 years straight playing PlayStation 2 games and having a wonderful time, dog. You can go through the PlayStation 2 library for the next 5 years. The PS6 will be coming out. The PS6 will be out by then. No one's going to care. You're the only one that's going to care. But if it's cool to you, you have the ability to choose to be able to do it. You know how much fun you'll have just going to random flea markets and just picking up PS2 games? Searching for PS2 games online, getting them, playing them for the first time. Like imagine you never played a Metal Gear Solid game. You pop it in, boom, brand new game for you. It's like, yeah, it's 25 years old. But like, who gives a shit? It's cool for you. And that's the choice that we have at our fingertips. We do it anytime. We do it anytime we want. And I don't ever see people doing it. They just sit up and complain about the things of today and how they're not this and how they're not that. And it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Go do what you want. Yeah. So, just my little ramble. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.